Right now, there's a truth that very few older adults are ever clearly told. More than 70% of people over the age of 60 have some level of gum disease, but most don't realize it until their teeth start to loosen or their gums begin bleeding regularly. What's even more concerning is this. The habit you trust every day to protect your mouth might actually be making things worse. Every time you rinse with an alcohol-based mouthwash, you're not just removing harmful bacteria, you're also wiping out the good bacteria, the natural protective layer that helps your gums fight off inflammation. Meanwhile, the dangerous bacteria remain hidden deep beneath the gum line, where mouthwash can barely reach. That's why so many people brush consistently, floss regularly, rinse every day, and still watch their gums slowly weaken over time. But here's what almost no one tells you. The problem isn't that you're not doing enough. It's that you're targeting the wrong root cause. And when the root isn't addressed, everything you're doing is like cleaning the surface, while damage continues silently underneath. In this video, I'm going to show you a completely different approach. Not with harsh chemicals, but with natural compounds that can reach where bacteria actually live, helping restore the balance inside your mouth and support your gums in healing the way they're meant to. If you've been dealing with bleeding gums, sensitivity when drinking something cold, or persistent bad breath, you'll want to stay with me, because what you're about to learn could completely change how you care for your oral health every single day. Most people believe the problem comes down to not cleaning well enough, but after the age of 50, the story changes completely. Your gums don't just need to be cleaned, they need to be nourished. As you get older, blood flow to the gums can decline significantly. It's like a garden that's no longer being watered regularly. The soil dries out, the plants weaken, and it only takes a small stressor for everything to start breaking down. Your gums are no different. When their nutrient supply drops, their ability to protect and repair themselves declines as well. At the same time, your mouth has a natural protective layer called biofilm. This isn't a bad thing. In fact, it's a living ecosystem that helps maintain balance between beneficial and harmful bacteria. When this layer is stable, your gums are protected. But once it's disrupted, everything begins to shift. Harmful bacteria, especially the kind that thrive without oxygen, take advantage of the deeper spaces beneath the gum line. You can't see them. You don't feel them right away. But day by day, they quietly weaken the gum tissue, create deeper pockets, and cause the gums to slowly pull away from the teeth. What you need to understand is this. This isn't something you can fix by simply brushing more often. If the environment inside your mouth is already out of balance, then no matter how well you clean the surface, the core problem continues to worsen underneath. So the real question isn't, am I cleaning enough? It's, is the environment in my mouth actually supporting my gums to stay healthy? The next common mistake lies in the very product many people trust the most, mouthwash. That clean, cool, slightly burning sensation on your tongue makes you feel like everything is under control. But that feeling doesn't reflect what's actually happening deep beneath your gums. Most mouthwashes work in a very simple way. They kill bacteria. The problem is, they don't discriminate. Beneficial bacteria, the guards that help keep your oral environment stable, get wiped out too. Meanwhile, harmful bacteria hide in gum pockets that can be several millimeters deep, places mouthwash can barely reach. Imagine mopping your floor every day, but underneath, the foundation is slowly rotting, and you don't even know it. The surface looks clean, but the structure underneath is getting weaker. That's exactly what's happening for many people. There's another point that's rarely mentioned. Alcohol-based rinses can dry out the tissues in your mouth. When natural moisture drops, saliva, which plays a key role in balancing bacteria and protecting your gums, also decreases. The result is a more vulnerable environment, not a stronger one. That's why so many people stick to a daily mouthwash routine, yet still deal with bleeding gums, sensitivity, or persistent bad breath. It's not that they're doing everything wrong, it's that they're addressing what's easy to see, while the most important part is being overlooked. So if the goal isn't to wipe out all bacteria, then what is the right approach? The answer lies in restoring balance. In your mouth, bacteria aren't the enemy by default. Problems only begin when that ecosystem shifts too far in the wrong direction. Instead of trying to eliminate everything, the real goal is to create an environment where harmful bacteria can no longer thrive, while beneficial bacteria are preserved. When that happens, your gums don't have to fight anymore. They begin to heal. This is why certain natural oils have been getting renewed attention in recent years. Not because they're strong in the sense of killing everything, but because they can penetrate the biofilm and act in a more selective way. Some of the compounds in these oils can weaken the protective structure of harmful bacteria, making them easier to remove while still maintaining the stability of the oral microbiome. Think of it this way. Instead of using a harsh cleaner that strips everything away, you're adjusting the climate inside your mouth. When the environment no longer supports harmful bacteria, they naturally decline, and your gums get the chance to recover. Another important point is that many of these oils have natural anti-inflammatory properties. That means they don't just reduce harmful bacteria, but also help calm the gum tissue, reducing swelling and irritation. And when inflammation goes down, your body can finally begin the real repair process. That's a major shift in approach, no longer fighting bacteria, but supporting your body to rebalance itself from within. At this point, the important question becomes which oils actually make a difference and which ones only give you a temporary feeling. Let's walk through 5 of the most common options, from the least effective to those truly worth considering. Starting with the last option on the list, but one that many people have heard of: neem oil. The issue is, it's often seen as a complete natural solution, while in reality, its effectiveness is quite limited when it comes to deeper gum problems. Why is that? Neem oil mainly works at the surface level, with antibacterial and anti-inflammatory effects. It forms a light coating over the teeth and gums, helping to suppress some bacteria on the outside. But for most older adults, the real problem lies beneath the gumline, where bacteria hide in small pockets that neem oil can barely reach. Observational studies show that when used as a mouth rinse, neem oil only reduces plaque modestly, typically under 10% after a few weeks. That means it may help you maintain the current state, but it's unlikely to create noticeable improvement if your gums are already inflamed or receding. If you still choose to use it, the safe approach is dilution. Just a few drops of neem oil mixed into a tablespoon of a carrier oil like sesame oil, then gently swish for about 1 to 2 minutes before spitting it out. There's no need to go longer, as extended use doesn't improve results and may cause discomfort. And here's something important to keep in mind. Neem oil has a very bitter taste and can easily irritate if used directly. For sensitive gums, improper use can actually make discomfort worse rather than better. So if you're looking for something that truly creates change, neem oil should be seen as a mild supportive step, not your primary solution. Next is the 4th option, a familiar name whenever tooth pain comes up: clove oil. Many people use it when their gums hurt or their teeth feel sensitive. And yes, it does work, but not in the way you might think. The issue is this: clove oil mainly helps numb the pain rather than address the deeper cause. Its main active compound, eugenol, has mild anesthetic effects and basic antibacterial properties. When it comes into contact with the gums, it can quickly ease discomfort, making it feel like the problem has improved. Mechanism-wise, eugenol can disrupt the cell membranes of certain bacteria and reduce localized inflammation. However, this effect isn't strong enough to reach deep into the gum pockets where anaerobic bacteria are actively growing. That's why the results are often temporary. Observational data suggests that with consistent use, clove oil can reduce bacterial levels modestly, just over 10% after a few weeks. That's better than doing nothing, but still not enough to create meaningful structural improvement in the gums. If you choose to use it, dilution is essential. Just 1 to 2 drops of clove oil mixed into a carrier oil like fractionated coconut oil or sesame oil. Then gently apply along the gum line with a clean fingertip in the evening. Avoid applying pure essential oil directly to the gums. And this is very important. At higher concentrations, clove oil can cause irritation, even mild burns to soft tissue. Some people experience gum peeling if it's used incorrectly. Also, if you're taking blood thinners, use caution, as eugenol may slightly affect blood clotting, so think of clove oil as a short-term comfort tool. It can make you feel better, but it's not a long-term solution for restoring gum health. Coming in at number 3 is a much stronger option, but also a more controversial one, oregano oil. Many people call it a natural antibiotic, but if used incorrectly, it can cause irritation instead of improvement. What oregano oil does better than the previous options is its ability to reach bacteria deep inside the gum pockets. Its main active compound, carvacrol, doesn't just weaken bacterial cell membranes, it also affects the survival of anaerobic bacteria, the type most commonly linked to severe gum inflammation. What makes this especially important is its more selective mechanism. Instead of wiping everything out, carvacrol targets harmful bacteria while having less impact on beneficial microbes. That's something many conventional methods fail to do. Recent studies suggest that when used at the right concentration, oregano oil can significantly reduce harmful oral bacteria by roughly 30 to 40% within about 2 weeks. More importantly, the overall microbial environment remains stable rather than being left empty, like it often is after using harsh solutions. That said, how you use it matters. You should never apply it directly. Just 1 to 2 drops of oregano oil mixed with a carrier oil like fractionated coconut oil, and you can add a drop of peppermint for a more tolerable taste. Swish gently or focus the mixture around sensitive gum areas, then spit it out. Avoid eating or drinking for about 20 to 30 minutes afterward. But here's what you need to remember. Oregano oil is very potent. If used undiluted or in excessive amounts, it can cause a burning sensation and irritate the oral tissues. Some people may feel discomfort even on the first use. That's why it's best to start with a very small amount and observe how your body responds. When used correctly, this marks a shift from simply managing symptoms to actually addressing the root cause. But even then, it's still not the most optimal option available. Coming in at number 2 is a lesser-known option, but one that works in a very different way. Myrrh resin. While the previous options mainly focus on controlling bacteria, this is where we move into something more important, restoring gum tissue. At this stage, the issue is no longer just about bacteria. Once the gums have been damaged, the body needs to reactivate its repair process. And this is where myrrh shows its real value. The natural compounds in this resin can stimulate the activity of the cells responsible for rebuilding connective tissue, essentially the repair crew of your gums. In terms of mechanism, myrrh not only provides mild antibacterial support, but also promotes the body's natural healing response. As inflammation is reduced and regenerative cells become more active, the gums tend to feel firmer and reattach more effectively to the teeth. This is something many other solutions simply don't offer. Some data suggests that with consistent use of myrrh extract, tissue regeneration activity can improve noticeably within a few weeks. People often report less bleeding, a stronger sensation when chewing, and areas of gum recession becoming more stable. The proper way to use it isn't by rinsing, but by direct massage. You can mix a small amount of myrrh extract into warm sesame oil, add a drop of clove oil to ease discomfort, then use a clean fingertip to gently massage along the gum line for about 1 to 2 minutes in the evening. However, this approach requires patience. It's not a quick fix solution. Product quality also matters. If the extract is impure or diluted with fillers, the results will be significantly reduced. If you've reached this point, it means you're no longer just trying to reduce symptoms. You're aiming for real restoration, and that's a major step forward. And now we come to the top choice, not because it's strong in the usual sense, but because it targets the three most important factors at the same time: breaking down biofilm, controlling harmful bacteria, and reducing inflammation to support gum healing. That's Manuka oil when used in the right combination. The biggest limitation of the previous options is that they each address only part of the problem. Here, the mechanism is different. The natural compounds in Manuka oil can weaken the biofilm layer, the shield bacteria used to protect themselves. Once that layer is disrupted, the bacteria inside become much easier to control. At the same time, when combined with a small amount of cinnamon essential oil, the compound cinnamaldehyde can interfere with bacterial communication, preventing them from coordinating and triggering strong inflammatory responses. What's especially important is that the benefits go beyond just reducing bacteria. Clinical observations suggest that with consistent use, the depth of gum pockets can decrease noticeably within a few weeks. Bleeding during brushing is reduced, and, more importantly, the gum tissue begins to show signs of reattaching more firmly to the teeth. The way you use it also matters for results. You only need 2 to 3 drops of Manuka oil mixed with a carrier oil like fractionated coconut oil, plus 1 drop of cinnamon essential oil. After brushing at night, use a clean fingertip or a soft applicator to apply the mixture along the gum line, focusing on sensitive areas. There's no need to rinse afterward, and you should avoid eating or drinking for a period of time. However, keep in mind that cinnamon essential oil can create a warm or slightly tingling sensation during the first few uses. This is normal, but if the discomfort feels too strong, you should reduce the amount or stop using it. Also, if you're taking blood thinners, consult your doctor before trying this. The most important thing to remember is this: this is not a one-time fix. The results come from consistency. When you apply it correctly every day, you're gradually rebuilding an environment where your gums can heal, and that's what creates real, lasting change. At this point, there's something important you need to clearly understand. The results don't just depend on which oil you choose, they depend on how you use it every single day. Many people have good products, but don't see the results they expect simply because they're not delivering the active compounds to the right place. The issue is that harmful bacteria don't sit on the surface of your teeth. They hide in small pockets along the gum line, sometimes several millimeters deep. If you just rinse casually, most of the active compounds are washed away before they ever reach where they're actually needed. The mechanism here is simple. You need to bring the oil into direct contact with the gum area, where the bacteria live. When it's applied to the right place and given enough time, the compounds can actually do their job. That's the difference between using it and using it correctly. So, what does that look like in practice? At night, after you've finished brushing your teeth, take an extra 1 to 2 minutes. Use a small amount of your prepared oil blend, and with a clean fingertip or a soft applicator, gently apply it along the gum line. Don't scrub. Just small circular motions, enough to coat the area and let it absorb into the gums. If you have wider gaps between your teeth or areas where food tends to get trapped, you can use a small interdental brush to deliver the oil deeper. The goal isn't quantity, it's precision. The next key factor is consistency. One use won't create a noticeable difference. But when you repeat this every day, you gradually change the environment in your mouth. Harmful bacteria decrease, inflammation calms down, and your gums finally get the chance to recover. Keep it simple. You don't need to combine too many methods at once. Choose one approach that fits you, stay consistent each night, and observe the changes over time. Sometimes it's the small steps, done correctly, that create results you never expected. If you do this the right way, your body will respond faster than you might expect. But it's important to know what to look for and over what time frame. Within the first 2 to 3 days, many people notice that sensitivity when drinking something cold begins to ease. It doesn't disappear completely, but it becomes noticeably milder. That's the first sign that inflammation is starting to come under control. After about 5 to 7 days, you may see less bleeding when you brush. Areas that used to feel tender when touched begin to settle down. This is when the environment in your mouth is starting to rebalance. By the second week, the changes become more noticeable. Your gums may feel firmer, no longer soft or loose like before. Some people also notice a clear improvement in breath as odor-causing bacteria decrease. And if you stay consistent for about 4 to 6 weeks, this is the stage that surprises most people. Areas of mild gum recession begin to stabilize. When you go in for a checkup, the results are often better than before. That said, there are a few important things to keep in mind so you don't disrupt this process. Do not apply essential oils directly to your gums. High concentrations can cause irritation and damage soft tissue. Always dilute before use. Avoid applying right after consuming acidic foods like citrus fruits or juices. At that time, your gums are more sensitive than usual. Wait at least 20 to 30 minutes. If you're taking blood thinners or have a clotting condition, consult your doctor before using stronger essential oils. And most importantly, this is not a replacement for professional dental care. If you have more serious issues, regular checkups are still essential. When you combine the right method with a clear understanding, you won't just see results. You'll be able to maintain them long term. At this point, the most important thing to remember is simple. Your gums don't weaken just because of age. They weaken because the environment around them has changed. And when you restore that environment the right way, your body still has the ability to adjust and heal. You don't need to do everything at once. In fact, the simpler it is, the more likely you are to stay consistent. What creates real change isn't the strongest solution. It's the right habit repeated every day. If you're ready, start with a simple 30-day challenge. Each night, after brushing your teeth, spend just 2 minutes caring for your gums using what you've learned. It doesn't need to be complicated. Just be consistent. Pay attention as your body begins to change, little by little. If you can, take a photo of your gums today. Then take another one after 30 days. When you place them side by side, you'll see a difference you may have once thought wasn't possible. And when you start noticing improvement, even small changes, come back and share your experience. Real stories like yours don't just help you stay on track, they can inspire someone else to begin their own journey. If you're interested in learning how the body can heal when it's supported the right way, you can follow this channel. Here, we don't just talk about symptoms. We focus on addressing the root cause. For now, don't wait until things get worse. Start tonight. Start